What up, Buzz? You tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack 'em. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things. MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong. History, and we good on that. Put Jilla on the track and we good on whack. 3, 2, 1. Everybody say Bulls on tap. Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty. Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery. Nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners. We got the stats in the news. Go and subscribe. Hang out with Buzzy and Goose. Tapping with us, we the truth. Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, a.k.a. Bull Scripted, and we're here to recap a 130-124 loss to the Atlanta Hawks tonight. I hate losing to Trae Young, Goose. I was trying to do my proper intro, and I can't do it because I just thought about Trae Young. Before we get into my Trae Young hatred and our loss to the Atlanta Hawks, be sure you're going on tapsportsnet.com. For all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs, following us on Twitter at BullsOnTap, at OnTapSportsNet, following Goose at BullScripted, me at BuzzOnTap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us. 5-star rating and review, because that's tough. If you are watching on Facebook or Twitter, please stop doing that. Go over to the YouTube, subscribe to the OnTap Sportsnet YouTube channel, and hop in the comment section and talk about these games with us. Goose, I know you were hoping for the sweep like I was. It didn't happen. How you feeling?
I'm not feeling so good because we're on the wrong kind of streak, and we've lost 3 games in a row, and the schedule's not really getting easier. So not quite hitting the panic mode button yet, but definitely hovering over that button because I am getting a little worried on this timetable of our players getting back in time here to kind of shore up a top seed in the East here to hold on to home court.
Yeah. I'm getting a little worried too now. I'm finally kind of backing off on my high, and I'm just like, my season high here of what the Bulls have done, and I just don't I don't like what I've been seeing recently. Obviously, I could sit here and complain about missing players all we want, but I mean, as you said in the last episode, which you got to be an ace in your place, you got to be able to capitalize when you're on the court. And tonight, man, the rebounding was just atrocious. I mean, just absolutely atrocious. The Bulls had 32 team rebounds on the night, 32. Atlanta only had 33. But the amount of offensive rebounds that the Bulls let just go to Atlanta today just blew me away. And it's something I can't get over. They have to improve there. They have to. And Caruso don't help that, really.
Well, no, and that's exactly what I was just going to touch on. I'm glad you said that. Patrick Williams is really the only player you're waiting to come back that's going to add size in rebounding. In a lot of the Pat's rookie year, we spent criticizing his lack of aggressiveness towards rebounding. So at this point of the season, obviously the way this team's set up is based on fit and balance and all those good things, but the rebounding answers aren't coming from anybody but Vooch or Tristan or whoever we're going to have in there at the 4, which all signs point to Pat. But is Pat even a better rebounder than Javonte? So, it's going to be a very interesting situation to watch play out here in terms of, can the Bulls cope with being such a bad rebounding team? Because we've seen it the last 3 games.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to bring this up early, too. Tristan and Vooch were actually paired together tonight. The spacing didn't work how I thought it would. I did like the premise of it. The 2 big guys in the middle, at least one can stretch the floor. I mean, right? I mean, the thought process works. At least one can stretch the floor. The other one's going to get down and dirty and do what you need to do to get the boards in place scrappy. By the way, off topic, it's still kind of on topic. Stacey King loves Tristan Thompson. I had to put that tweet out, and I told my wife, I'm like, I hope you love me as much as Stacey King loves Tristan Thompson.
Was it that gushy?
Bruh, it's just every time he does something, man, it's wild. It's wild. Very gushy. very gushy Stacey King stuff. But that
did you see the video on Twitter of him shooting like 8-foot jump shots and breaking like 10 in a row?
Yeah, I did. He actually took one of those in game and it went in today. So he was just trying to fool the opponent there. That's all he was trying to do.
Fair enough. Just muddying up the scouting report there.
Exactly. I love the thought process there. Don't show him your hand. I like what he did. But Vooch and him played together tonight. Not a lot of – it didn't really work out that well. But that wasn't just the only thing. I think that was tried because of the offensive or the defensive rebounding opportunities that were missed to lead to Atlanta offensive rebounds. Atlanta had 8 offensive rebounds to the 5 for the Chicago Bulls. And on one of those possessions, they had gotten 3 offensive rebounds in a row in a kind of a crucial moment. It wasn't very late in the game, Goose, but it was in that third quarter when Atlanta had went on their run where they had went up double digits for the first time. This was just a game of runs in general. We throw that out there. It was just a game of runs in general. But if they're not going to can play hard on the offensive boards, man, you're not going to win games. I don't care what anybody says. You have to. For your lack of size in the rebounding department, you have to supplement that with maximum effort. And I know that sounds like generic and hallmark as shit, but I don't know how you feel about that, but I think that's the truth.
No, you can definitely tell that the intensity on the boards is not what it needs to be. And as much as we downplayed the effectiveness of Caruso and Lonzo at that aspect of kind of fixing this team, those two are very aggressive on the boards. They bring the intensity throughout the whole entire game on every aspect of the game. So does that mentality with them coming back become contagious for this team? Is that going to be our saving grace? Or is this really just an internal wake-up call for our bigs? It's really hard to gauge what all is going to be solved when these guys come back, because that's really all we're holding out for. That's all we can hope for at this point.
I went back and I watched, believe it or not, just a while of games. We had 2 days without Bulls basketball. So I went back and watched when Ball and Caruso were healthy. The only one that was missing was Patrick Williams, right? I mean, he was the only one that was missing at the time. And I noticed how we swarmed, we flew around the court defensively. We were crashing the boards, and you had, especially with believe it or not, with the small lineup. So maybe we shot ourselves in the foot here with my initial comment, because even with the small lineups, they would crash the boards, but then you'd have a couple guards breaking out. And that's what led to those transition points that the Bulls were doing very well at in the beginning of the season when everybody was healthy outside of Patrick Williams, of course. So I think it could be a big help to your point. They need to figure it out, because the schedule, again, with these last 23 games after the break, and now we're down to 19?
20, I think.
Or 20 left?
3. We've lost the 3.
Yeah, right. So we've lost – true, yes. We've lost 3 in a row after coming out. It's just – I want to think that helps. It's just at this point right now, there's a lot of questions to be asked. And one of those questions is, and I know we're not breaking down the game necessarily with this topic, but we need to talk about it. Zach LaVine commented about how he is not fully 100%. And that he said that he still believes he's one of the best players at 70 to 80% in the NBA. I could see a substantial change in Zach LaVine since he came back from that knee tweak, which led to back spasms. The aggressiveness is gone, kind of in the flow of the offense, not really looking to take over how he had done before. Because if you went back earlier in the season, Goose, remember when him and DeMar were neck and neck in that fourth quarter stuff? That's gone. That's not even existing right now. So are you concerned about this? Because I put out a tweet yesterday and I said, listen, I think it's admirable that Zach LaVine is still playing through this injury or whatever's bothering him, being the knee. But if he's not at 100%, this ain't it, because they're not going to win without Zach LaVine being 100%.
No, I think the thing that concerns me with that is the percentage that he put it at for himself. Saying 70, 80% is scary to me. When I feel 70 to 80%, I don't feel good at all.
I feel like
that's like close to feeling like half of yourself kind of talk.
Right.
Usually when somebody's just kind of dealing with something achy, I'm like 95%, doing pretty good. It's manageable, obviously not comfortable, but manageable. I think that percentage that he's throwing out there is probably more concerning to me than anything, because that is borderline probably shouldn't be playing. And obviously this team needs him right now. And as you stated, it's extremely admirable, but making the playoffs with an unhealthy Zach doesn't do this team much justice. Chances are you're a one and done. Yeah, you're a one and done at that point. That's not the goal. So I'm curious what kind of conversations they're having internally about that, because obviously the schedule's hard. They need him, but tomorrow's a back-to-back. Is Zach going to sit?
Yeah, so Billy was asked about that, and Billy didn't think so unless something happened with Zach, because Zach doesn't want to sit. So is there a reason to save him from himself, or is it something that the offseason needs to fix? Do you know what I mean? So that's probably like the road that they're traveling down where you hit the fork. It's like you shut him down, which I don't think he needs to be shut down. Listen, he put up 22 points tonight. He went 8 for 14 in 34 minutes, 22 points, 3 boards, 7 assists. He did have 4 turnovers and a block. He's still able to do things that are beneficial to the team, but it's just not to that level where he was at. So, I mean, it's definitely a little concerning. DeMar DeRozan, second straight game, a little bit struggling there. I mean, 10 for 20 from the field. I mean, okay, 50% from the field. But he had 22 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals. He also had 4 turnovers. That's what killed the Bulls tonight. Outside of one other thing where I can use this to my advantage to blame the refs, which is what I'm going to do in a loss because I am a homer. First and foremost, the Bulls had 13 points, led to 19 Atlanta Hawks points off the turnovers there. And the Bulls shot 7 free throws tonight. 7. They made 6 of them. Atlanta shot 28 free throws tonight and made 24 of them. The Bulls just lost a game, Goose. The Bulls just lost a game while shooting 59% from the field and shooting 53% from downtown.
Yeah.
Fucking yikes, dude. Yikes.
That is not a discrepancy that can happen. That's a number that you get in the fourth quarter because they're trying to make up that discrepancy. That is baffling. Those numbers that's abysmal.
I think that's the most that's the biggest discrepancy I've seen all year. I have to go look through the games, but I'm pretty sure that this was a game low free throws attempted for the Chicago Bulls tonight. I'm sure of it. 7 free throws, dude, to fucking 28.
No, DeMar usually gets that in the fourth.
DeMar usually gets the free throw 7 times himself. That's a big discrepancy. So I am gonna bitch about that a little bit because that's a little insane to me. If the Bulls lived and died at the perimeter all game, where they were just chucking, okay, I could see a small free throw, quantity there. But the fact that they took 88 total shots tonight, and 26 of them came from behind the 3-point line, and we only got to the fucking free throw line 7 times.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so that's a huge discrepancy there. And again, with the turnovers, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot there. At one time, we had like 7 to Atlanta's 1. Atlanta only turned the ball over 5 times to the Bulls 13 tonight as well. So they just kind of played sloppy. And like I was telling you, it was a game of runs where the Bulls went on a run to start the game. Atlanta charged back, and it was just kind of like, one-upsmanship.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Right, and at the start of the game, the first possession for Atlanta, Io shut Trae Young's ass down. I was talking, you call me 7-11 because my mouth never closes. I was just talking. I'm like, got him again. Got him, you stupid little haircut. And then Trae Young happened.
Yeah, and then Trae Young went into the locker room at halftime and saw all that and came out and was like, oh, yeah, Buzz, this is a close game. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit you with 2 step-back threes to seal this thing up real quick.
39 points, 13 assists, 3 rebounds. He went 10 for 10 from the free throw line, 11 for 18 from the field, and 7 for 9 from downtown.
So your buddy Trae had 3 more free throws than the Bulls as a team as a whole.
Yeah. He sure did.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then Herter played a great game, 17 points on 7 of 13 shooting. DeAndre Hunter, great game from him, man. Absolutely great game. 7 for 13 from him, 18 points. Clint Capella came in, did his job, got a double-double, played some good interior defense. He had 12 and 11. Vooch actually played a decent game. He had 21 points, 11 boards, and 5 assists tonight. He had a couple turnovers I didn't like. Other than that, it was just kind of, The bench did real well in their minutes. They took advantage of it. If you look at the plus minus type thing, plus 17 for Kobe White, plus 6 for Tristan Thompson, plus 5 for Troy Brown Jr., who actually looked pretty damn good tonight in his 15 minutes of play. And then Derek Jones Jr. only 13 minutes. If you remember, before he got hurt, he was floating around that 19-minute mark, 19 to 21-minute mark. He's fallen a little bit since the break. I wonder if that finger still bothered him pretty bad, but he was a plus 18 tonight.
I got a feeling it's probably part the finger and then part the addition of Tristan, just because before we had TT, DJJ was getting a lot of minutes at the 5 even some nights situationally. He was kind of stealing minutes there instead of going with Tony Bradley. So it's kind of discouraging to see him fall out just because I feel he does bring that energy. That man gets in so much foul trouble. It's hard to play him more than 19 minutes.
Oh, yeah. He plays hard. I mean, he's a physical guy, so I mean, that's why that happens to him. But I don't know, man. It was like I said tonight. Though I feel like it's stupid cliche to say, but I feel like the Bulls beat themselves, and now they've moved 15-15 away from the United Center, so they're a 500 team away from the United Center. If you remember, we were a pretty good road team at first there, and we're starting to kind of crash back down to reality now.
Well, we got to hold on to one of these top seeds.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So. With that being said, for this game, we'll move on from it. It's a loss. I'm sure Billy will, have this team working hard in the gym and ready for tomorrow. Pregame shoot around, get these guys ready because we're playing the defending champions tomorrow. We're playing the Milwaukee Bucks at 6:30, and that's at home at the United Center. It is a return. Well, not the return, but it is the first time that we're going to see the Bucks since the Caruso incident, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it?
Yes, Grayson Allen will be in Chicago.
Yeah, so that's not great. I'm just got to say this. I'm sorry for swearing. I'm really not, but fuck that guy to the moon. I cannot stand him. He's a dirty player, and hopefully the Bulls. I mean, I don't want anybody getting hurt, not even him. But hopefully he has a terrible game, and the Bulls can sneak out a victory because Goose. It does not get easier. We have Philadelphia on Monday after that. So the Bulls will have Saturday and Sunday off. Tomorrow they play Milwaukee, and then the 76ers on Monday. It's a tough game, man.
So you mean we're staring a 5-game losing streak, like dead in the eyeballs?
Dead in the eyes, right? Yeah. And then we have Detroit on next Wednesday. So
okay. So it shouldn't get any worse than 5.
It shouldn't get any worse, but I'm still not. I'm still scared. I'm still very, very scared because
if I'm honest, the Hawks game tonight was kind of the one I was banking on stealing to get rid of this streak here because Bucks and Sixers doesn't sound like a good time. Especially Zach's not at 100% here. I don't. We just don't have the star power for either of those two teams.
No, I know. It's that DeMar can't do it alone. It doesn't matter if he's the king of the fourth quarter if you're getting your ass whipped for the first 3 quarters. Besides that, so.
On the bench in the fourth, there's not much you can do.
Right. When we played Milwaukee last, though, back on January 21st, we played them close. It was a 94-90 loss in Milwaukee. So we did play them close, but they're a good team, man. They're defending champions. You got to do everything you can not to fucking lose this game because you're going to have 2 days off. You're going to have Saturday and Sunday off to kind of recharge your batteries there. Try, for the love of God, not to get 4 losses in a row. We just can't afford it right now. The Bulls are now, I believe, they're 3 games back, 2.5 or 3 games back of first place. Which, I mean, it sucks. It does. It's brutal. But at the end of the day, man, I'm still proud of what the team has done. It's just they gotta pick it up, and there needs to be a little bit more intensity out there on the court. You can't let up the offensive rebounds. You can't be sloppy with the ball. You need to play to win the game.
At least according to Google, as of right now, this exact moment, we're only a game and a half out.
Oh, we're a game and a half out. Okay.
Only a game and a half out.
Did Google did it update?
Oh.
Because Google's always behind.
Oh, it's behind.
Yeah, well, which is funny. I could be wrong if you completely. Oh, they're 2 games back.
We're 2 games back.
Yeah, they're 2 games back. Yeah. Yeah. So they're actually in third now, technically, because Philly has that tiebreaker.
Yep.
So Miami, Philly, Bulls, and then right on our ass is the team that we play tomorrow, Milwaukee. And if Milwaukee wins, we'll have the same exact record at 39-25. So, it's wild. It's going to get real heavy here until we start getting some guys back, if they are coming back. So,
we're watching the standings this year instead of Tankathon. So it is a complete feeling.
It's always a victory, especially when you're looking at the top of the standings. We're not looking in that play-in. We're looking at the top. So it's nice for sure. I give you that 100%. But I just wanted to stay up there in first. I mean, the view looked great from up there. I haven't felt that feeling in a long time. I was waving at the Knicks like, you suck. It felt great.
What did you think about? Did you see the championship probabilities that came out the other day?
Oh yeah, absolutely did.
Did you see that Cleveland had like
5.1%?
Yeah, to our 1.5.
Yeah, I did see that. So as I mentioned when we were at the Windy City Bulls game, when we were doing that round table, the Knights of the Round Ball table, as Fred likes to call it, I said that I'm scared of Cleveland. And I hate Cleveland. I think it's a crappy city. I've never been there. So if anybody's listening to this going to get all mad, I've never been there. But I don't care to go there either because Joakim Noah said it's not fun. But I was afraid to play Cleveland because of their size, man. And the Bulls don't deal well with size. So
and I definitely agree with you there, man. But
the championship
4 points ahead of the team that's higher than them in the standings, a team that actually has veterans like DeMar and Vooch, guys who have done it on their own on teams and have playoff experience. Cavs are really young. They're exciting, probably have that whole long-term picture on the Bulls. But for this season,
yeah, I'm surprised.
Higher probability? Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm surprised. We're actually getting some Zach LaVine hate here today in the chat too. I mean, I can, again, I'm not going to agree, but I can take the time to understand. Thank you for the comment, Patrick. I can take the time to understand that you're waiting for Zach to pull out like this super stardom, right? And I think we can all admit here we've seen flashes of that, of like, gets a bucket when you need the bucket, makes a big play when you need the big play. And that's become kind of few and far between this year, but that also has to do a little bit with recency bias. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because we have DeMar DeRozan on this team that kind of took it over. That's one reason. The second reason is that Zach got injured. And it really did affect him. I don't know if he's that dude. I just know he's a player I don't want to lose because I see the talent there and his age. So that's where I sit with Zach LaVine. Patrick, Goose, I'll let you kind of elaborate if you want to give any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, for Zach, on top of having to juggle not being the only option on this team anymore and kind of having to share the spotlight, he had the hand injury, he's had the back spasms, he had the knee issue. So all around, Zach's been battling stuff throughout the season. And just the fact he's been there has been big because a lot of these games that he has toughed out, we have needed the production that we've got for him to steal these W's. So it's really hard for me to badmouth Zach in any way, shape, or form, just given the fact that without Zach LaVine, you probably don't get DeMar DeRozan, you don't get Lonzo Ball. None of what is going on right now happens without Zach LaVine. And that's from the position that they're in the standings to just the makeup of this roster and people wanting to come here and getting a veteran like Tristan on the buyout market. Like, if you don't have Zach, you don't have all this star power. You're not getting these guys in. So offseason comes, like our buddy Jeremy here is saying, potential surgery for Zach. All these questions are obviously concerns come the offseason. But for this year right now, it's just you have Zach. You can cross the rest of the bridge when that time comes, but no putting the cart before the horse here.
Right.
If Zach wants to play and he has, the clear from the medical staff that he's not going to make anything worse, we need Zach 100%, 70%, 20%. If Zach LaVine can get on the floor, he's going to help this team.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree with that. And another one from Patrick real quick here. We have a lot of people jumping in and saying, sticking up for Zach and saying, they're going to blame health and all that stuff. But we have one more from Patrick. Guys, be honest. Has Zach really improved his game since the Boylan era? I don't know if I want to pay him $40 million for these injury excuses when everyone in the league has some. Yes, he's improved since the Boylan years. He has. And the reason I tell you that he has is that you saw that his points weren't empty calories on a losing team. You saw Zach LaVine be on a team that's been in first place all year long. and continue to have similar numbers than he did of last year. Of course, they took a dip, but that's because you've added a guy in Nikola Vucevic and DeMar DeRozan over here. Zach LaVine was doing some really great things, and there's a reason he's an all-star and looks so highly from his peers. Again, where I do see where you're coming from is like, is he that superstar? Is he worth a max contract? And in today's day and age within the NBA, I have to say yes. But I'm also not a GM either. So I'm a armchair GM, just like everybody else is here on Twitter or YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching tonight. I believe he's worth a max contract. The Supermax, scared me a little bit, but I don't see him making an All-NBA team. That's not going to be happening, I don't think, anymore. But I think he has improved in some areas. I just think that he's hurt. And again, yeah, I understand not wanting to use injuries as an excuse, but sometimes they are. And it sucks. I don't want to say it either. One of my favorite players ever, Derrick Rose. I rode to the death with him because of his injuries. Obviously Zach's aren't as severe as D Rose's were, but it's kind of the same premise. I think that he's gotten better. I think that he will continue to get better. I just think he needs to be healthy, and this is his first winning season. Hopefully he can build off of that. Goose?
No, like you mentioned, Zach's probably not going to make the All-NBA team to qualify him for that Supermax, that 40 mil plus kind of payday anyway. So maybe in a sense, we should be a little grateful for the minor struggles, just because we don't have to stress about that. But injuries are a thing that happen. Like he's playing through, he's doing what he's supposed to do. His attitude hasn't changed despite the fact that DeMar's taken this MVP spotlight. I know we all want Zach to walk the walk behind the talk that he's been talking, but until this stretch here, the Bulls they've been at the top of the standings. They've handled their business against the teams that they're supposed to, and have taken a couple of games against the top teams to keep themselves there. So I'm not going to worry about Zach getting paid. If he gets hurt, they're going to pay him anyway. You're not going to let a guy like that walk for free. In this day and age with injuries, for the most part, guys recover 9 times out of 10. I'm not going to put too much pressure on Zach's offseason contract. Right?
It's all a done deal. Zach LaVine's getting the max. We all know that here. He was never leaving. The only reason he didn't sign an extension is because he wanted to get the super max. And I don't blame the guy. Him and DeMar seem to be very, very close. They're doing some special things over here in their first season. Zach LaVine just came out the other day and talked about how close him and Billy Donovan are, how they text all the time, how they talk about basketball all the time, outside of the gym and inside of the gym. So he's going to be here. He's going to get paid. It is what it is at this point. And I'm fine with it because I think he's a good player. So that's really all I got for tonight, man. I know that we'll be back tomorrow after the Bulls play the Bucks. You got anything else before we ride out here, man?
No, just hopefully leave this game tonight in the past. Just because I can't do another loss, man. Four in a row is not.
Are you having flashbacks?
I'm having flashbacks, man. I feel like we've done this like maybe one other time this season where it's been like, this hurts. This feels too much like old, and I don't like it.
Yeah, you're flashing back into year 1 and year 2, huh?
Yeah.
That 82 game grind in the first 2 years with the bad team sucked.
It is feeling a little bit like that right now. I don't like seeing Trae Young smiling and us tearing up at the end of a game, especially because those step back threes were just so damn disrespectful. So hopefully we put up a better fight than we did in Milwaukee. You said 94-90. That sounds pretty manageable. Although I don't know the Bulls have the defense to hold the Bucks under 100 points right now.
That's very, very fucking true, actually. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy game tomorrow night. A very important game, too. Playoff atmosphere. I'm guaranteeing the United Center is going to be popping off for that one. But I ain't got anything else, man. Everybody, be sure you're going on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at BullsOnTap, at OnTapSportsNet. Following Goose at BullScripted, me at BuzzOnTap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. Also, if you are watching on the Facebook or the YouTube, or on the Twitter, Facebook or the Twitter, next time go over to the YouTube, subscribe to the OnTap Sportsnet YouTube channel, hop in the comment section with us, and we talk about these Bulls wins or losses. We'll be back tomorrow after the Bulls play the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's go Bulls.